Peace, 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 peace. Is Andrew, the Promised Child, once again. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe, like, share, and leave a comment below. Right now, listen. Right, let's get right to it. Right, if you are suffering financially, right, you're struggling financially. Um, because I am. Just to be totally transparent with you, just to be 100 with you, right? As I always say, and I have to say this, as I always say, I'm not a billionaire, I'm not a millionaire, I'm not even a thousandaire at this moment in time, at this period in time, right? I'm not none of those. I'm a brother who is working every single day to change my condition. So as you see the videos that I post when I'm out in Southside Plaza selling oils or anywhere, selling the oils, selling the shirts, selling the hats. As you see, I'm always marketing it. I'm always promoting it. Right. I'm just working on changing my condition, changing my situation. Right. And I'm pushing forward. So when I get on here, I don't want y'all to look at it as, oh man, he's rich, oh he's doing so much better than me. No, I'm in the struggle just like everyone else. I'm pushing forward and striving to become financially free just like everyone else is, just like a lot of people are, right? Um, but what I will say is that we have to start setting goals, right? So instead of getting up every morning and man, I hope this work, I hope this work, I hope this work. Man, I'm just out here busting. You know how that go? Like when you just on the grind. I'm trying to say this. I'm trying to say this. I'm trying to say this. Trying to say this. I'm trying to get this. I'm trying to get this up. Right? Start setting like goals. Right? Like you ask the people a question. Right? You be like, how much money you want to earn? And people say, I want to earn a lot. Well, what is a lot? Right? I want to earn a lot of money. I want to get a lot of money. I want just more money, right? Well, you could walk down the street, see a $5 bill on the ground, and that's more money. You know what I'm saying? Or even a $20 bill, that's more money. You got more money. So it's time for us to start getting real specific on how much money you want to earn, right? And I learned this from Bob Proctor, right? That's what Bob Proctor said. RIP to that great teacher, to the master teacher, Bob Proctor. And that's what Bob Proctor said. He said, no, get specific. How much money do you really want to earn? And write it down, And this is something like, it's not how much money your favorite teacher want to earn or your favorite rapper want to earn. How much do you want to earn? And then some people say, well, I just want to earn enough money to be comfortable, right? Well, what's like, how much would you have to earn to be comfortable? So is it $1 million? Is it 10 million? Is it 50 million? Is it just six figures a year? Write it down. And then once you write it down, look at it. And then keep looking at it and say it to yourself every day. So this is something that I learned from Bob Proctor, right? He says, write it down. And this is the thing that I'm working on now, right? I have not obtained what how much money that I actually want to earn, but write it down, look at it. So say for example, you say I want to earn $1 million a month, right? That's the goal, to earn $1 million a month, which that would be what, $250,000 a week, right? To earn $1 million a month. So you say, all right, that's my goal. I want to earn $250,000 a week, $1 million a month. And I remember I learned this from Bob Proctor, so I'm gonna write it down. You write it down. Then you say, all right, that's the goal. I want to earn $1 million a month. Then you write down, I'm so happy and grateful now that I have $1 million. I'm so happy and grateful now that I have $1 million. And he says the importance of doing this is to reprogram your mind, right? You're reprogramming your mind. So you're changing your paradigm when you do that. As he says, in order to change the paradigm, you change the paradigm through repetition of information, right? So what is a paradigm? A paradigm is a mental program that has exclusive control over your habitual behavior, that almost has exclusive control over your habitual behavior, and almost all of your behavior is habitual, right? So in order to change that, it's through repetition, right? So for example, instead of saying I'm broke as hell, you write down and rewrite and says I'm rich as heaven. So instead of saying I'm broke as hell, you write down I'm rich as heaven, 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 I'm rich as heaven. The more you start to say these things, the more you start to believe it. All the information that you have now, or a lot of the information that you have now, came through repetition. You only know your name because of repetition. Your mother, your father, your grandmother, whoever raised you, if you was an adopted child like I was, whoever raised you didn't just say your name one time. They said it to you multiple times. They said it to you so many times. Now when somebody say your name, you know your name. If they only said it to you one time, then you wouldn't even know your name. But they had to say it to you repetitiously. In order for you to know how to speak and speak the language that you speak, whatever language that you speak, that comes from repetition. That's like the first law of learning. Repetition. That's how you learn anything, through repetition. You know how to drive a car because of repetition. You know how to swim because of repetition. You know how to walk because of repetition. Everything you know comes from repetition. So that's why he said that we need to do these things and say these things to ourselves over and over and over and over. Not only say it to ourselves over and over again, but write it down over and over again. He says write it down 100 times. You know what I'm saying? So in order to break a bad habit, he said write it down on a piece of paper 100 times and say it to yourself 100 times. You know what I'm saying? Just keep saying it over and over and over and over again. And he says do it for 30 days. That's what he says. For 30 days, you should do it. So that's the goal that me and you gonna set. Brothers and sisters who watching this, we're gonna write down how much money we want to earn, right? And whatever that number is, I can't tell you what the number is. I can't tell you you know, I don't know you. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't know you personally and what you actually want, but you write down exactly how much money you want to, how much money you want, and write it down. I want to earn $1 million, and then after you say I want to earn, my goal is to earn $1 million a month. Then after that, write down the affirmation. I'm so happy and grateful now that I earn $1 million a month. I'm so happy and grateful now that I earn $1 million a month. I'm so happy and grateful now that I earn $1 million a month. And just write it down and say it to yourself over and over and over again. I'm gonna do the same with mine. I'm gonna write my affirmations down of how much money I want to earn, and then I'm gonna say it to myself. This how much, you know. I'm so happy and grateful now that I earn this amount of money a week, a month, a day, whatever it is, how you want to do it, and that's what I'm gonna do. So we shouldn't just listen or gather information, because that's what a lot of us do when we watch YouTube, when we read books. We just listen or read, and we just gather information, but we don't actually apply the information that's being told to us. We just hear it and we look at it as a form of entertainment. This book is entertaining. This podcast is entertaining. No, it's time for us to actually take the information, right, and use the information. You know, they say knowledge is power. Well, if that was the case, if knowledge was power, then the people in the library, woof. You know what I'm saying? They have so many financial books, so many mental health books. They are surrounded with so much information inside of the library. All of them will be multi-billionaires, whatever. You know what I'm saying? All of them will be excelling in every aspect of life if just information alone was able to change your situation. Information alone doesn't just change your situation. Applying the information is what change your applying the information is what change your situation. That's what changes your situation. Not just you could. It's like you could read about fixing cars all day long. You can read about fixing cars all day long, but if you never get out there and actually go fix a car, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But if you apply that information, oh man, you change your life, and you change the person, and you impact your life, and you impact the person who car you worked on and fixed. You know, so get the information, but also apply the information. So whoever, if you watching financial gurus, if you watching mindset gurus, whoever you watching, whoever you reading, take that information and apply the information. And that's where I'm at in my life. Like I'm not just gonna watch Bob Proctor and listen to Bob Proctor and not apply the information that Bob Proctor is giving me, because Bob Proctor has powerful, impactful information. You know, a lot of the things that he says, like, yo, it's right on. It's like 100% on. Like, for real, for real. It's real talk. He says something, and I'm gonna let you go on this note, but he says something in one of his shows that stood out to me. He says most welfare recipients are like second, third generation. So their mother's mother was on welfare, so that's why they are on welfare. And then when you sit back and you think about it, you be like, oh snap, he right? This is a paradigm. You know, as he said, we don't write the paradigm. Somebody else is in control of our paradigm. Not saying that we shouldn't hold ourselves accountable for the decisions that we make, but what he was saying was a lot of the ideas that you have, right, comes from other people. It's not your idea. The welfare, being on welfare, came from mama, great grandmama, or grandmama, right? Working a 9 to 5. That idea came from mama. That wasn't your idea. That came from mama. That's programs that's been installed into you. So we have to, if we want better, we have to change the program and update the program and do better. That's all. That's all he was saying, and that stood out to me. We are just repeating the same steps that our parents repeated. Working 9 to 5, and then work all the way, get your 401k up, right? Then retire. Then after you retire, just lay around, watch TV, do nothing. You know what I'm saying? So these are programs that's installed into us. We got to change that program. And the way that we change our program or our paradigm is through the repetition of information. That's how we change it. Through the repetition of information. And never get to a point when you read a book, when you listen to something, when you learn something, never get to a point when you think you got it down packed. It's always room for improvement. You always need an update. It's like similar like when you look at the phones. Every year they got a new phone coming out. They updating. It's always a new phone coming out. They updating. There's always a new car coming out. They updating. They always adding new features to it. It's always new features to it. And that's what we have to do with our minds. We have to always add new features. We have to always be updating. We have to always be learning. We have to always be growing. Because so many of us we stay stuck. And the same results we getting this year was the same results we was getting last year. And the same results we was getting the year before that. And the same results we was getting the year before that. And the same results we was getting the year before that. And we don't look and understand that it's the paradigm that's in control. You have some people who could get more done in a week than what some people could get done in a year. Why is that? Because it's the program. It's the program. So, like I said, a lot of this information, I'm giving credit where credit is due. I get this information from Bob Proctor. I be watching Bob Proctor all the time, and I'm learning and learning from this brother. And he put me on great books like Think and Grow Rich. Think and Grow Rich is an awesome book written by Napoleon Hill. That is a dope book. I advise you to go read that book. Now, you got different versions of the book, but at the end of the day, go get that book. You know what I'm saying? I purchase a lot of my books from Barnes and Nobles. That's where I get my books from. But of course, you can order online from Amazon and other places. But you know, that's how you change the paradigm. Repetition of information, getting into these books, getting into these positive podcasts, and not just gathering the information, but actually using the information. And that's how you make the change. That's how, you know what I'm saying? Because now you're getting a new information. The old information was working 9 to 5 and retire. You know what I'm saying? And draw Social Security. That's old information. The old information was be a welfare recipient. Get food stamps, get a check. That's the old way. That's the old paradigm. Now we want to update the paradigm to, as in the Bible says, be the lender and not the borrower. Be the head, not the tail. The old information was be a consumer. Buy. Work, buy. No, the new information is own, produce, own, produce, own, produce, own, produce, own, produce. That's the new information. Being an owner. Not just, what I'm saying, not just consuming things, but also producing things, creating things. The old information was rent. Rent out the apartment, rent out the apartment, rent out the apartment, rent out the apartment. The new information is own the property, own the property, own the property, own the property, own the property. That's the new information. And that's the information we should be repeating to ourselves over and over and over and over and over and over again. And also getting out there to go act it out and put it into the universe and actually start using those hands, start using that mind to bring these things into existence. You understand what I'm saying? So yeah, man. Read, study, learn. Be careful who you hanging around, because negativity is like a disease. Doubt is like a disease. That thing spread fast. You get up in the morning